Hello, everybody, and welcome to Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. I'm Lisa Shield.
And I'm Benjamin Shield.
And it is lovely to be with you today. So, we are going to talk about how over-strategizing is a form of self-sabotage when dating. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes strong, successful business women are making today in their dating. They are so trained in their business lives to strategize and to focus on outcomes that when it comes to dating, they just want to know. They want to get to the bottom of things. Why can't we just get this out of the way? Whatever. And what happens when women do that, babe?
Well, my vision of it is that it's not a dance. It's a sprint. In the best of all possible worlds, that dating is this beautiful dance where one person isn't leaning back entirely and the other person's pursuing, or that one person is kind of going about dating and getting to know someone and the other person is thinking about what the next move will be, what the exact words of a text should be, and it's crazy making.
Crazy making. Yeah, it's crazy making for us to hear about it, and I can't even imagine what is going on in a woman's mind when she's doing that.
Yeah. Well, part of it is fear. Part of it is control. And I think control is really the big word here.
Yeah.
But it's concern that things aren't going to work out unless they over-strategize, unless they think about, well, should I wait 8 hours or should I wait 10 hours? What did he mean by this text, and how should I respond to that? Instead of a lightness of being, where because a man can feel that stress coming from the other person. He can feel it, and he can feel when something is manipulative. And I don't mean that in that a person is manipulative, but it could be a wonderful, caring, warm person resorting to manipulative behavior because they're worried about, is this guy, serious? I haven't heard from him in 2 days, and after my text, and what does that mean? And how do I respond? What do I do? So, very often you would say, text someone as if you were talking to a friend. Like, hey, I was just, missing you, and let's get on a Zoom call, and I'd love to see your face. I'd love to hear your voice. And it's just this lightness that brings two people together. It's more fun.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why do you think so many love coaches are, say these things like lean back and let a man chase you? And I mean, if I had been hearing those messages when I was dating, thank God there weren't love coaches then, I would have been horrified.
I think some love coaches, dating coaches, relationship coaches, feel more comfortable with rules and say, this is the list of 10 things you should do, and this is the list of 10 things you shouldn't do, instead of just being human,
right.
Instead of just enjoying the process, enjoying the other person, having fun doing it, and that's what's engaging.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. It's almost like somebody came up with these theories, but I also, and then everybody just took them on as truth. But I also think that part of that comes from the fact that they're trying to get these women to stop controlling. And so what they're basically doing, or what a lot of women are hearing, is, well, then either I just go in and I say, well, what are we doing here? And do you want kids? And how about marriage? And like it's a business negotiation. Or they do nothing and just lean back and let men chase them.
And leaning back and doing nothing and letting men chase them is controlling also, because it's forcing the man, it's trying to control the man to move forward, to pursue, instead of it being this lovely dance.
And I think they tell women to do that because so many women are so controlling, but it's still just another form of control.
Yeah, very much so. And it's not a pretty form.
And it's not authentic.
No, it's not, because, the woman is saying, why isn't he moving forward? And the guy is thinking, she's not into me. Mm-hmm. And then, how many good men have passed by good women because of this, because of these silly rules or obligatory ways of that they feel they need to date.
Yeah. And it's what I love in our course, our Emotionally Naked Dating course, is that the women learn how to express themselves and how to ask for what they want and need in a relationship without being anxious or needy or desperate or angry or insecure.
Yeah.
And so that they can enter into relationship just being friends first.
Right. And it also teaches women how to seek those men who are seeking the same thing they're seeking. Mm-hmm. Committed relationships, finding what we call the guardians of their souls, of each other's souls. Yeah, and how to avoid the avoidance, in which it can be crazy making and causing strategy. And, well, when I did this, I haven't heard from him, for 4 days, and what do I do next? And just recognizing those patterns of the guys that they're dating that might be avoidant and just should run from the relationship, or it will be crazy making and full of strategizing and anxiety.
Oh, it's all it is. It's just never a relationship. It's two people kind of dancing around each other or on that roller coaster. So back to over-strategizing. What is that about? Why do you think women do this, and what does it feel like to a man when we do it?
Well, I feel that a woman does it because there's an insecurity that the relationship isn't going to move on, that they found a guy that is, potentially a wonderful partner. They may not know them well yet, and they want the relationship to be progressing at a certain pace. And for the guy, guys move at a different speed. It's getting to know someone. Maybe they're dating more than one person at a time and seeing which person is, the most suitable for them, that they have the most fun with, that they can be most vulnerable with. And a guy can really feel like pressure, like he's pushed up against the wall, like
Wow.
I bought these tickets for Saturday, and they were expensive tickets, and I wanted to know if you'd like to go, and all of a sudden the guy feels like pressured.
Wow.
And
He can pick up on it too. They can.
Oh, very much so.
Even like, especially like in the very early stages of dating, they can pick up on it.
Yeah. And I think one of the concerns that a guy has in dating is that they're going to be controlled, that they're going to lose some autonomy, that they're going to be less than who they were when they were just single, that it could be like their mother controlling them, or past relationships that haven't worked where there has been control. So their radar is up.
That is something they're really actively paying attention to.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that a lot of these women, like a lot of women think they're burying it or whatever. What would be some ways that you would know, like a woman with a checklist, you can feel, and what are some of the ways that notice a woman being anxious?
Well, they would be texting far more than what the guy would be texting. You know, so a guy might text occasionally good morning, and a woman might say, he didn't text me good morning this morning. What do I do? You know, and a guy's just thinking, wow, I texted her on Monday. Yeah, I'll do it again on Friday. You know, just say good morning. And if a guy starts getting texts saying, particularly, did you get my text from 2 hours ago? Because I didn't hear back from you. Oh God, you know, that's like pouring cold water on the relationship, because a guy suddenly feels like he's obliged to perform in a certain way, and they're not even in a relationship yet.
No, and like sometimes these women are like, they've gone on 2 dates with the guy and they already have these expectations about what the guy should be. They've been on 2 dates and then they want texts all the time. And how do I ask him to text me more? I'm like, you've been on 2 dates with this person. You barely know each other. Give this a moment. Give the guy a chance to even know if he wants to go on a 3rd date with you.
Right. And I think one of the things that men crave is space.
Mm-hmm.
And when that space becomes narrowed in a relationship, and they feel, well, I need to check in every night before I go to bed, or when I wake up in the morning, I have to text, or she knows I have a lunch hour, you know, and why, you know, I've got this free time. Why aren't I checking in? And it does feel like more like a checking in than a just something relational. Like, God, I miss you. I just wanted to reach out. You know, if someone got that text, you know, every other day, you know, rather than hi, I'm at lunch. I just, you know, wanted to check in with you. And, you know, one is rich and, you know, I'm vibrant. The other is very obligatory, you know, cold.
Well, and I'm sure that one thing that happens with women is they have these expectations, and then the guy does call or he does text, and she's got a tone in her voice because she's already upset that it was,
Right.
you know, there's not, oh my gosh, it's great to hear from you. And, oh, I was, you know, I've been wondering how you are and thank you for reaching out. It's more like, oh, hi.
Right. Right. Or because I hadn't heard from him in 2 days, I'm going to wait 2 days to respond
Right.
to his, which is, you know, strategizing. And
Oh,
so-
I even heard if somebody writes you, like waits 3 hours, then you do double the time.
Oh, God.
Who makes this stuff up? Who makes these things up?
And that's just it. It's made up.
Right.
It's not like, well, this is the way we're supposed to do it. And this is what's going to work. It's just something that someone made up to be clever or to, you know, think that they have a fresh way of looking at something or a way that's going to work where other ways haven't worked. And it's self-sabotaging.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you have to think about what you're really trying to create on the other side of this and then show up that way.
Yeah. And a guy wants to, you know, a guy will even unconsciously be projecting what it's going to be like to be with this person 5 years from now, 20 years from now. You know?
I think a big part of, you know, because I had been very controlling and strategizing and anxious when I liked men in the past. And a lot of it was driven just by deep, deep, deep insecurity and never feeling good enough or lovable and wanting this person to really love me or care about me or whatever, just craving that in general, and that was the guy I was projecting on in the moment. But it was agonizing. It was agonizing, and I had no skill in this part of my life. So I didn't know it at the time, but so much of my agony was driven by a real lack of knowledge and understanding of how to relate to men and to understand if I'm putting my heart out there and I'm showing up a certain way and that man isn't into me, he's not my guy.
Yeah.
But that took a lot of work to get to that point where I was able to have real confidence in this part of my life and not be driven by fear and insecurity.
Yeah. And it's a miserable existence. To be sitting, on your couch or in your bed or at your desk and just waiting for a text to come in, waiting for a voicemail, and it's one of the reasons in your program that you encourage people to date more than one person at a time, because it's so easy to project, to really think, overthink about one person when there's two or three people that you're seeing in two or three other people. That one person isn't everything. And the text coming in isn't a monumental event. There are other people, and if someone isn't texting a lot, isn't communicating a lot, well, they may not be that into you. They may be dating other people. They may not be that serious about having a relationship, which is why dating more, multiple people in finding the guardian of one's soul is so important, because you begin to see who shows up.
I was just thinking that going on all those dates, I just, I stopped trying to get a guy to like me. And I just wanted to feel good about myself and how I showed up in those situations, and feeling proud that I had portrayed the best example of me on those dates. And there was, I let go more and more about trying to get men to like me. And as I grew in myself, I felt like I was becoming more and more attractive. And then you came along and you fell in love with me. And I wanted nothing from you. Nothing from day one.
I always felt a sense of space. I never felt encroached. I never felt that if I didn't, like after our first date, you went away for 3.5 weeks to Southeast Asia. And I don't think I wrote you once.
No.
And, but I did mark on the calendar the day that you were coming back. And I, called you that day.
I know.
And we've been together ever since. But if you were thinking for those 3.5 weeks, he hasn't called, he's not into me, he's seeing other people. We create these stories. Just out of thin air. And, it's crazy making.
One time I literally thought, I wonder if that Rolfer guy will ever contact me again. And then I came back and there was your message.
And for me, I was just thinking, well, she's going to be back in 3.5 weeks. I'm going to call her as soon as she gets back. I didn't think one date, or even if it was 2 or 3, was enough to really have a conversation going, from a distance. And so I just marked it on my calendar saying, when she gets back, I'll call her the day that she gets back, and we'll get together in person and get to know each other.
I don't know. There's just a level of maturity that I think so many of us don't have in this part of our lives. It's like a direct line back to feeling like you're a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, we're back in high school or junior high school, and we're crushing on a guy, and we don't know what to do with this panoply. Is that the right word? Of feelings?
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to learn how to do this, you know, people want this kind of relationship. They're longing for this, and they can have it. I mean, we're just two people.
Oh, right. Anyone could have it.
Anybody can have this. Anybody. And, you know, but we didn't just get handed this. We aren't just two really lucky people. You know, we both really, really, really worked on ourselves. And I know I had to let go of all those strategies, that desire to control and that inability to navigate the awkwardness, you know, that unknown terrain when you're falling in love with somebody. And you want something so badly, you know, and yet you have no control over whether or not this person will fall in love with you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of men and women and men, but I think a lot of women are looking for a picture to put into the picture frame, and rather than seeing the person. So they're almost checking off, I have a relationship, or I have a relationship that's going to progress into, you know, partnership, into marriage, whatever it is. So, and the man could kind of feel that, where they're more interested in getting a relationship than really, really getting into the man. And the man truly, truly can feel that.
Wow. I mean, there's so much that we don't realize on both sides about how we're showing up and what one sex is looking for, what the other is hyper aware of, you know, and this is really important. The more evolved somebody is, the quicker they're going to pick up on that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think a lot of us don't realize. We're looking, oh, I can't find men on my level to date, and you know, where are all the good men and whatever? Well, they can pick up on your neuroticism, your controlling behavior, your lack of emotional control, right? And they pick up on that stuff very quickly.
Right. And there's such a delicate balance in dating in the early times of really trying to find out if the other person is on the same page as far as marriage, as far as children, you know, as far as all of the blending families, whatever it might be, and pushing too hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
So a person just feels like they're going through an interview, and you know, if they pass the interview, then they could be in a relationship with this person, rather than really getting to know and having empathy and knowing that not everything's going to fit exactly in the beginning, and given the two people who are the right people for each other, it will fit. It's
so funny, you know, I honest to God didn't have a checklist at all. None. I'm thinking about it, and I was thinking back to our first date, and we were so in the moment and just sharing. I know you were very sincere, but I was just being me. I was sharing about USM and what I was doing there, and this project that I was...
USM, where you got your degree in spiritual psychology.
Yeah, where I got my master's degree. And I was sharing with you about, I had to come up with this second year project and what I was thinking of doing. And, you know, I have some kind of wild ideas about things. And we were just talking.
Right.
And you were bell jarring me. You were staring into my eyes And I felt like nobody else existed in the world in that moment.
And that's what we mean by bell jarring. It's if when two people are together, it's as if there's a bell jar over those two people and nothing else exists. Even if it's a brief conversation, that person may never have been in a conversation where they've been so received, so connected with for that even a short period of time, let alone an evening.
Yeah.
That person's going to go home and say, wow.
And I did.
Yeah.
I did. But that was remarkable when I look back, I'm so proud of us, I'm proud of, I really believe, and I don't, I say this with a lot of humility and as a result of a lot of hard work, I really do feel that our relationship is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I'm just so proud of it, of what we've created and how we are together and what our life is like. And I just don't know if people realize how beautiful this can be, and what's even more beautiful is that we're present for it.
Yes. And we're grateful for it every day. Every day.
Every day.
And it's beautiful because anyone could have this. It's not just something that is a fluke.
No.
At all.
Not at all. In fact, there are a shocking number of women who have worked with us and done our course, our 12-week course, who have this. We know because we said, we've met their partners, we've seen them together. We actually have a couple coming out to visit shortly. A former client whose birthday is on Valentine's Day. Her boyfriend, I won't go into the story, can't spend that day with her, but he said, how can I make it up to you? And she said, you can take me out to meet Benjamin and Lisa. So yeah, they'll be here in a few days. So we know because we meet our clients, many of them and their partners, and it's remarkable. And we hear how they talk about their relationships, and it echoes what we have. But you're not going to get here by over-strategizing. It is a huge turnoff to the kind of men who are self-aware enough to be looking for that. It is a behavior that they do not want to deal with in a relationship, and they can feel it.
Well, they can feel the anxiety.
And the desire to control that's underneath it.
Right. And the desire to have a relationship more than even before they really develop the foundation of shared experiences, conversations, becoming friends, having trust and safety with each other to be vulnerable, all of those things that it's almost as if they're driving by the exit, the right exit at first would be, friendship, shared experiences, trust and safety, and just driving right by that, going right for the relationship. And men can feel that anxiety, but what can bring on anxiety also in women is when a man is just avoidant or just not into, the person, and then it creates more anxiety, which creates more over-strategizing, which pushes, it could push the wrong people away, which is great, but it can push the right men away.
When I was dating, it was a very intuitive feeling for me if a guy was into me or not or whatever. And what I did was I would see how the guy was responding, how he was showing up without any attachment to it. And very intuitively, and it wasn't done in a punishing way or whatever, but if I didn't hear back within a certain period of time or whatever, I would just send a message and say, hey, it doesn't look like you have time to date, but we're not, doesn't seem like we're a match. And I just want to thank you so much. You know, it was lovely connecting with you. And that was really, really important because there was a foundational belief inside of me that I wanted a man who was as excited about me as I was about him. And it had to be mutual and reciprocal. So I didn't want to work hard anymore to get a man's attention or to try to get him to want to be with me. And I was willing to go out on all those dates without strategizing or trying to control them. In fact, it was very much the opposite of that. It was just sitting and seeing how these men showed up, you know. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice. And it was a very different approach. And it's very important that women, you know, for the women listening, that they understand that you really have to be with yourself in this process and pay attention to when you want to do something to control the man or get an outcome. Because your gestures, the way you need to operate is from caring and compassion, but not from control.
Yeah. And when a woman is over-strategizing and a man feels pushed, he doesn't feel like he's in the position of pursuing. And so, and pursuing doesn't mean that a woman just sits back and lets a man do all the work. It's that dance between what makes a woman and a man, you know, in the dating, you know, in the courtship process.
Yeah.
And a man likes to feel that he's pursuing, and a woman is responding, and then he wants to pursue more, and then it, you know, just progresses. But if a man feels like, oh my God, you know, I'm, you know, she's pissed because I didn't, you know, confirm our Saturday date, even though it was on my calendar. You know, of course I was going to, you know, pick her up and of course we were going to meet, you know, whatever it is.
Well, and in a guy's mind, he would be like, why didn't she just check in with me or send me a text and say, you know, just wanted to make sure we're still on.
Yeah, if we were talking to friends, we'd just say, you know, like, I look forward to seeing you, you know, Thursday night, you know, and I'll meet you there at 6. You know, that's just it. And the guy would say, oh yeah, me too.
I mean, the truth is, if something's on my calendar, then it's there and I'm showing up for it. Yeah. If I've made you know, as adults, we make a commitment to somebody and we give them our word and say, we're going to do, you know, go to dinner, even, I mean, well, with my girlfriends. If I if I make a date with a girlfriend, that's a priority. It's there. If I call her, you know, the morning of and just say, hey, just, you know, confirming for tonight. But I don't write my girlfriend 3 days ahead. Right. You know, oh, she's probably worrying if we're still on. And no, every time you do that, do you get that I get it. Guys haven't shown up before and your time is valuable and whatever. But with a grown adult man like this, who's already got it on his calendar, I mean, you have got to trust men and know that an adult person, when something is on his calendar and he's made a commitment, whether it's an internet date, somebody he met online or wherever, it's on his calendar.
Yeah.
And it's almost disrespectful to a guy if a woman is like,
oh yeah, like, what, do you think I forgot?
Hello.
Do you think I put it on the wrong date, you know, on my calendar?
Yeah.
You know, it's, to a guy, it's not just silly, but it's annoying.
Right. Yeah. It would be annoying to me as a grown up, as a, you know, like if a girlfriend called me up, well, why didn't you call me 3 days before to just, you know, confirm this? Because, you know, I would be like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one cause of over-strategizing is that men and women have different styles in texting. Men may answer with 2 words like me too, or okay, or sounds good. What did he mean by that?
Somebody on a call recently said he wrote a sentence and put a period at the end of it. He never puts a period. What does that mean? Oh my goodness. I don't know. Ask him. I can't read his mind. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's just crazy and crazy making. And I think it's so, I just, to sum things up, over-strategizing is something women who, especially women who have been in the business world, they also just want the outcome. They're just checking off boxes and like, well, let's get this done here. Do you want to have kids? Are you ready to get married? This is how most women would like to do a first date. If we could just all bets are off before we ever, go down a road with you, we would like to sit down and say, so, do you want a relationship? How long was your last one? Why did it break up?
Right.
This is what we want to know. What is your relationship like with your kids? Did you have a good relationship with your mother? Was she close? Are you romantic? Why did you get divorced? We want to grill you and check off all the boxes. Do you want to have kids? How soon would you like to have them? Because I'm, 35 years old and I'm going to have to consider very quickly. So how are you feeling right now?
There's not going to be a second date. And I'm so sorry we went for dinner rather than for coffee. Because now I have the entree and we're just on the appetizer and I've got the entree and dessert to sit through. It'd be torturous.
Torturous. I was like, do you want to know how I felt just asking that? I was like this.
Yeah.
Instead of, it is so lovely to meet you.
Yeah. And guys may not know if they want kids until they meet the right woman.
Right.
They may, before you and I met, I was thinking that the perfect relationship, having been previously married, might be, and having been a bachelor for a while, might be having two separate residences. Mm-hmm. And then when we met, and I wasn't intending on getting married again, and being with you, everything just melted away. I couldn't imagine not calling you my wife. I'm so proud to call you my wife. But, just saying significant other or partner or girlfriend or anything, it just wouldn't do it. And I couldn't imagine not waking up with you every morning. So, those things change as people develop the trust, safety, friendship, vulnerability.
Can I say something that just occurred to me? Many people, as they get older, they will say, well, we don't have to get married because we're not going to have kids. And you and I don't have kids. Neither of us ever wanted them. We got married because this is a true marriage. Yeah. And something would have been incomplete. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something would have been incomplete if we hadn't truly created a real marriage. And, we put everything at risk, our finances, all of our monies, our inheritances, everything, every single piece of paper, everything we own. Mm-hmm. And I was in my 40s and you were 50. Mm-hmm. And we made that choice because we wanted to be one. Mm-hmm. Everything. We didn't want any separations, nothing. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to close down my own personal bank account. We couldn't even figure out why I have it. Yeah. So that we'll just have our joint account together. Yeah. We don't even need that anymore. Yeah. And so we married for all the right reasons. But I can tell you that no strategy will get a woman here. What gets you here is learning how to love and be loved, how to open your heart, how to be a guardian of each other's souls. And it takes a lot of personal risk, a willingness to open yourself up to, to fully open yourself up to another person and to really surrender to the process.
Yeah. And make a choice. And make a choice that with all the intrapersonal work that we've done, and all the growth that we've done, there's still beyond that the choice to blend with someone, to combine lives. And what we found is by combining our lives, we've actually gained greater autonomy and a greater sense of ourselves in doing so, because we're reflected back by the other person.
Yeah. Well, this is a magical journey with you. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lisa Shield, and this is my husband,
Benjamin Shield.
I like that when we do that. And this is Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. I do 2 podcasts each week. I do Lunch with Lisa and also Getting Inside the Right Male Mind with Benjamin. Please tell your friends about the podcast. We've been getting some awesome feedback, and people are really telling us it's different than what they're hearing other coaches say. And we want to get the word out because there's just so much misinformation about how to do this. And there's something so extraordinary when you know what you're doing. So if you want to learn more about the work Benjamin and I do, please go to lisashield.com. You will see a link to watch my free 45-minute presentation, which will take you into greater depth about the kind of work I do. If you like what you hear, stay to the end because you can book a call with me or a member of my team. Also, what else do I want to tell you? You can send me your feedback, and you can also request a topic by writing to podcast@lisashield.com. And then also you can like my YouTube channel and rate and like this podcast. All right. Thank you for joining us. We love spending this time with you, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.